Have you been looking for an option to protect your smartwatch? Well, I have an Apple Watch, and I think I may have found a solution for not only myself, but you. Today, we're going to do an open box as well as the construction and installation of this case from Catalyst. Coming up. Let's build together. So what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of That Guy Health, AMBF Men's Physique Pro Health Up Nutrition Sponsored Athlete. So guess what? Today I have a case from Catalyst. The reason why I ordered this case is because I run into a lot of times in the gym with my Apple Watch is bang against a coarse iron, steel. I'm not very conscious of it all the time because I'm involved in my exercise. So I wanted to look and see if there was an option out there to help protect the screen. And actually I came across something that was even more interesting. It was a case by Catalyst. So I've seen covers that go on top of the Apple Watch, but supposedly this is supposed to be a complete replacement for not only the band, but also the face. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to turn out. So I said, you know what? There are other fitness people out there that might be looking for similar options. I'm going to open box it with you all, and you're going to get to see me take it out of the box, try to install it, get it put together, and see how it comes out. I ordered what is called the Ranger. There are several other options as we will cover in this video. But for now, how about we cut all the chatter and get into the work? So here we have the Catalyst case for the Series 1 Apple Watch. I was pretty impressed with the packaging overall, as it was made with quality, and definitely looking at the illustrations. If you don't want to ruin that small tab on the back because you're the type of person that likes to preserve packaging, definitely just slightly squeeze that back and the tab will open. Instructions are included inside. And here, it's simply easy to pop the case out of the packaging mold by simply pressing from the rear. Inspect the case just in case there may be any deformities. I was quite glad to see that Catalyst included tools with the case. It would have probably been an issue had I not had the proper Phillips size screwdriver for the screw that they provided with the case, and that could be a hassle. I then removed my Apple Watch and also compared side by side to possibly see how much bigger the case would make the Apple Watch on my wrist. It doesn't look or seem to be too much bigger, but you never know until you actually get it on and start using it in functional use. I basically looked over the instructions, simply looking at the illustrations and simple things to give me details on how this case would go together. I then began to disassemble the case, first removing the screw on the back of the case. Please note that there is a screw on the back of the case. Do not try to pry the case open without removing that screw, as you will damage your case, and I do not know if Catalyst will cover that. So simply just unscrew counterclockwise, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. The screw will come out. Be sure to place that somewhere where you will not lose or misplace it. Now simply, very simply, push the case apart and be sure not to pop it out like I did, and I had to retrieve that. Now I'm looking over the case as it is now in two halves. It was neat to see that Catalyst had basically put a mock-up of the Apple Watch inside of this membrane, which gives you a better idea of how the case and the membrane will go together. Then gently remove the membrane from the mock-up Apple Watch, being sure not to damage, ruin, or split the membrane, which will ruin your waterproof integrity. Now I began to look over the Apple Watch, being sure that it's still functional. I then turned off the power to the Apple Watch while I'm going to install the case on it, being sure not to misplace or push any buttons or make any calls or text messages at the time of installation. You will press the 2 tabs on the back of the Apple Watch, and this will remove your bands, simply sliding them left or right to remove them. Place those bands somewhere else. Now I'm going to begin to install the membrane over the Apple Watch, being sure to put the button placement in the correct place and gently slide the membrane over the entirety of the Apple Watch. Firmly checking and being sure that it is completely covering the Apple Watch. Looking on the back, the right, the side, I did notice that the membrane is slightly thinner in other places where you might have a speaker or a microphone. Now run a test function by turning on the Apple Watch and being sure that the actual buttons still are accessible and functional. You don't want to completely put this together in the case and then find out that your buttons are not functional, because then you will have to completely disassemble it, which wastes your time. Now take the base of the case, test it on your wrist, being sure which side of the wrist or which wrist you want to wear it on, and then correctly in the orientation, installing the Apple Watch with the membrane inside of the base of the case at this point in time. Again, functionally checking the buttons throughout the process helps, just in case you run into an issue where they might not function. You don't have to completely disassemble the case. Now I put the top portion of the case together, still testing the functionality of the buttons, making sure that they work at this stage. Now I'm going to flip the case over, finding the slot where the screw goes, grab the Phillips head screwdriver, of course hand thread it first, being sure not to strip the threads, then use the screwdriver that is supplied with the case. Simply snug, do not over tighten it as you could strip the case out. And we're pretty much finished right here. Now I want to test to make sure the case is not going to come apart, making sure the bands are fastened, and again checking my buttons, checking the rear for the sensors, place it on my wrist, and we should be good from here. So far, so good. The bands feel pretty snug and made of quality. I think we might have a winner here. Again, I'm running through testing functionality of the Apple Watch, the buttons, the touchscreen, making sure everything is still good towards the end of the installation. Right here I was comparing to see how the width of the bands differed, not too much. And we're done. Alright, so as you see, as painfully as that probably was as far as on assembly, doing it on camera, you know, you definitely are showing all the inconsistencies, but you see how it went together. I definitely like the fact that they had a membrane in there, and definitely, like I cued in on the instructions, make sure that that rotary and that button system actually work and do actuate the buttons on the Apple Watch face, before completely installing it in its case, because if you get that far, of course, you're going to have to take it apart. Good thing is it's only one Phillips head screw. I love the fact that they included a tool with the kit that does show a type of quality, a type of level to their product, and thought as far as the customer or the end user, because they could have just gave you that screw and then you say, hey, find your own screwdriver, and then you have to think, how many people have jeweler set screwdrivers? Not a lot, if you know about that. So that was definitely a good attribute. The watch case does make the Apple Watch, of course, a little bit bigger than it normally is, so that will take some getting used to, but I'm finding that it's not too bad. I thought I was going to have a little resistance as far as my wrist flexion, but it's not that bad. So I guess the main thing is, how is it going to function out in the use? So today I am going to gym. It is back day. So I'm going to wear this today as I would any other day and see if it causes me any disruption, if there's some things that I don't like, but also to see if I do hit it up against something, what's the average chance that it actually hits the skeleton, not the face. I do like how they have the face sunken in, so there's a little bit of recess between the actual face and the case, which gives it a type of level of protection. The band feels great. I don't know how it's going to be over time. You know how some of this material, once it kind of gets into oils or lotions or whatever kind of chemicals you may have around that you use on a daily basis, I call it chemicals, but just cosmetics that you might use on a daily basis, sometimes they tend to lose their elasticity. So we're going to see if that happens. So like I said, I appreciate you all, as always, coming through. We're going to see how this Catalyst case actually works. This video is not sponsored by Catalyst. It's simply me trying to share things with you to hopefully help you protect your fitness gear and expose you to new things that might be out there that you are not aware of. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make a second part to this review. It won't be on the YouTube channel, but you still definitely need to subscribe, comment, click notifications. But I'm going to leave part 2 of how I feel about this case probably in about a week on the Instagram channel. I'll do a good 30 to 50 second video letting you know what I've been finding out, how I'm settling in with it, if it's worth it, if it wasn't worth it. But also keep in mind, this is a Series 1 Apple Watch. I know there is Series 4, but guess what? I'm not fixing it if it's not broke, okay? With that being said, the price was reduced from $60 to $20 in order for me to get into this and try it. So definitely it was a steal at that price. The newer ones, you can go over to Catalyst's website and see what the prices are on the Series 2, 3, and 4, as I did not look into because I was not worried about it because I don't have one. With that being said, you know what I always say. Peace, be safe, and let's build together. I'm finna go hit a monstrous bag day. I also have videos of that on IGTV and on my feed. You all take it easy.